and bustling Venice, holding a Byzantine gold coin in your hand, a solidus. For 7 centuries, this coin has been the benchmark of trust in the world of money. Crafted at 23 to 24 carats, its purity ranged from 95.8% to 99.5% gold. Generation after generation, it held its value, its reputation untarnished. The solidus was legendary. From Russia to Persia, from the Levant to Sri Lanka, merchants and kings alike accepted it without question. It was the Middle Ages dollar, the universal currency everyone wanted, everyone trusted, everyone relied upon. Yet as you hold this particular coin, something feels off. Suspicious, you take it to a money changer. The verdict confirms your fears. This coin is only 87.5% gold. The Byzantine emperors have begun debasing their currency, and within 30 short years, that debasement will accelerate catastrophically. The solidus will fall from 87.5% to a mere 33% gold. International merchants will no longer accept it. Venice will respond by creating its own currency, the ducat, to replace it. And here's the sobering lesson for America. The Byzantine solidus lost its reserve currency status 249 years before Constantinople itself fell. Financial collapse came first, and political collapse followed inevitably. The story of the Byzantine solidus isn't just history. It's one of the most crucial and overlooked lessons in finance. Reserve currencies die not because of foreign conquest, but through self-inflicted debasement, military overreach, and the erosion of productive capacity. Let's go back to the 4th century, when the world's longest-lasting reserve currency was born. The solidus was introduced by Emperor Constantine in the early 4th century, struck at a rate of 72 coins to a Roman pound of gold, about 326.6 grams. Each coin weighed 24 Greco-Roman carats, roughly 4.5 grams of gold per coin. In theory, it was pure gold. In practice, medieval refining limits meant coins averaged about 23 carats, or 95.8% gold, and yet this standard held for centuries. From the 4th century all the way to the 10th, the solidus remained unchanged in weight, size, and purity. Byzantine gold became synonymous with reliability. Merchants trusted it because its value was consistent across Constantinople, Alexandria, or Antioch. Its weight never wavered, its purity never faltered, and the empire's power guaranteed it. For hundreds of years, the solidus earned the title of the dollar of the Middle Ages. Its reach wasn't regional, it was global. In the 5th and 6th centuries, Byzantine gold flowed to the Baltic in exchange for furs. By the 6th and 7th centuries, lighter coins were hoarded across France, the Low Countries, Scandinavia, Germany, the Balkans, Russia, the Levant, and North Africa. Coins turned up as far as Sri Lanka. At its peak under Justinian Fear 527 to 565, the Byzantine Empire controlled much of the Mediterranean, including modern-day Italy, Greece, Turkey, and parts of North Africa and the Middle East. Constantinople's location gave it dominance over the Black Sea and key maritime routes connecting Syria, Egypt, and Western Europe. Through all this, the solidus remained a standard of international commerce. Its gold content stayed between 95.5% and 98%. Then, the disasters began. Starting in the 7th century, the empire faced waves of invasions. Persians raided Syria, Palestine, and Egypt. Arabs advanced into North Africa. The Visigoths claimed Byzantine territories in Spain. Lombards moved into Italy. Slavs occupied large parts of the Balkans. The empire shrank by 2/3. The Arab conquests stripped Byzantium of its richest provinces, Egypt and Syria, while North Africa fell to the Umayyads by 698. These were the empire's tax engines, its grain suppliers, its economic lifeblood. Coin circulation contracted to Asia Minor and parts of Greece and Italy. Some mints fell to enemies, others closed from lack of demand. The empire faced a painful choice: raise taxes on a shrinking population, borrow beyond means, or debase its currency. Debasement won out. The solidus began to lose gold under successive emperors, starting in the 1030s with Romanos Argyros, 1028-1034. Michael IV, a former money changer, assumed the throne in 1034 and continued the slow debasement. Initially gradual, it soon accelerated. By Constantine Numaev, Monomachos, 1042-1055, coins were 21 carats, 87.5% gold. Under Constantine II Ducas, 1059-1067, they fell to 18 carats, 75%. By the reign of Alexios the Komnenos in 1081, gold content hovered around 30%. In just 36 years, from 1042 to 1078, the solidus collapsed from 87.5% to 33%. A currency that had maintained trust for 7 centuries was destroyed in a single generation. International merchants refused Byzantine coins. Why accept payment that halves in value every few decades? Centuries of trust were wiped out in mere decades. In 1092, Alexios Thorn tried reform. He scrapped the solidus and introduced the hyperpyron numisma, 20.5 carats, 85% gold. But it was too late. Trust was gone. Merchants remembered the debasement. They knew Byzantine emperors couldn't maintain standards. Then came the final blow. In April 1204, the Fourth Crusade, intended for Egypt, instead sacked Constantinople. The city was looted ruthlessly. Despite oaths and excommunication threats, Crusaders violated sacred spaces, stole treasures, and emptied the imperial treasury, with Emperor Alexios III fleeing with just 1,000 pounds of gold. Most Byzantine territories were divided among the Crusaders. The restored empire never regained its former wealth or territory. Hyperpyron coins remained fairly stable until the sack, but after, debasement continued. By the 14th century, gold content ranged between 11 and 15 carats. Michael VII Palaiologos recaptured Constantinople in 1261, but debased coins persisted until John V and John VI struck the final Byzantine gold coins between 1347–1354. Constantinople itself didn't fall to the Ottomans until 1453, 249 years after the solidus lost its reserve currency status. Financial collapse came first, political collapse followed. So what replaced the solidus as the world's reserve currency? Venice's ducat. By the 13th century, Venice imported goods from the east and sold them north of the Alps. Payment used Byzantine hyperpyron, but when Michael VIII Palaiologos debased the coin further in 1282, Venice responded in 1284 with the ducat, 3.545 grams of 99.47% pure gold, more consistent than anything Byzantium had minted. Florence had already introduced the florin in 1252, 3.5 grams, 98.6% gold, but the ducat became the international currency of choice in the 15th and 16th centuries. Traders shifted from florins to ducats. The lesson is clear. Once trust is lost, superior alternatives rise fast. Over 80 years, the solidus fell from 24 carats to 8. The US dollar went from gold-backed in 1944 to pure fiat in 1971, with trillions printed since 2008. Byzantium fought wars across multiple fronts. The US maintains 800-plus military bases globally, engaged in conflicts from Afghanistan to Iraq, Syria, and proxy wars. Byzantium lost Mediterranean trade to Italian city-states. The US is losing trade dominance to China. Byzantium lost Egypt, Syria, and North Africa. The US has lost manufacturing and runs massive trade deficits. The Venetian ducat and Florentine florin replaced the solidus. Today we see the internationalization of the yuan, BRICS currency initiatives, and potential CBDC alternatives challenging the dollar. Byzantine debasement took roughly 80 years from first devaluation to near-worthless currency. The US left the gold standard in 1971, 54 years ago in 2025. The pattern is strikingly similar, and history suggests the outcome may not be favorable. The key lesson: reserve currencies collapse long before the empire itself falls. Trust erodes, military overspending drains resources, productive capacity declines, and competitors seize the opportunity. Once merchants migrate to better alternatives, even reform cannot restore credibility. The solidus maintained its standard for 700 years, then fell in 80. Trust once lost cannot be regained. 7 centuries of credibility destroyed in less than a century. That's the power and fragility of reserve currency status.